Hi everyone, Paulina here with Spa Connect. Today, I'm thrilled to welcome a very special guest, Michel Falcon. Michel is a powerhouse in the restaurant and hospitality world, and he's joining us to share his game-changing people-first culture philosophy. We're talking about why this approach isn't just for hospitality, but it's a must for any business, including the med spa industry. So welcome, Michel.
Thank you for having me, Paulina. I'm excited to do this and speak to you directly to your group.
Fantastic. So let's talk first about people first culture. This is obviously something that is a core philosophy for you. It's shaped your career. But I'm curious, how does that actually look in action? How
Yeah,
does that phrase actually tangibly transform a business?
yeah, it's a slogan. It could be seen as a platitude, but it's a growth driver. I reference when I speak to business owners, practitioners, operators. There's three things that I, as an operator of businesses and leader of people, want to achieve. Referred to as the three Ps, which is the operator three Ps. And one of them is profit. The second one is peace of mind. And the third one is pride. So the people first culture, the tagline of the book is build a lasting company by shifting your focus from profits to people. However, that does not mean that I'm not a profit centric CEO and founder. I am. But how I go about earning it
Mhm.
is a way of high integrity, making sure you're bringing people along. People
Mhm.
first culture essentially means let's truly put the individuals within our business that are engaging with our customers, our suppliers, and anybody that interacts with our brand at the core of our decision making. And let's build such high performing teams that we actually have less people in our company rather than more. I always find it bizarre when people are like, wow, they're successful. They have 50,000 employees. I'm like, that doesn't define success. I
Mhm.
think definition of success on the people side is having fewer people who are compensated really well and they stay with you for years.
Right.
And my industry is quite challenging for that, but I've solved it. Um, we want to be able to build a workplace that's never been seen before because
Mm.
we want performances and financial results that have also never been seen before. That's the profit piece of the three Ps. The second, peace of mind, knowing that you as the leader can go on vacation and not be bothered
Mm.
via
Yeah.
text, email, phone calls because the show goes on. I have the peace of mind. It's 12:06 right now as we're lunchtime. All of my restaurants are full service right now. They're gunning, all of them. I'm here with
Mhm.
you. I have the
Mhm.
peace of mind to know that the show goes on because I have people like Brian, Vanita, Pavleen, everybody's performing. And then lastly is pride.
Mhm.
Looking at your business and be like, we are best in class, we are the best employer, we have the best customer experience, and we have the best financial results.
Yeah.
Something to
It's
be proud
it's
about.
so inspiring because I think that a lot of people would probably see that as counterintuitive, right? The idea that, having less people and paying them more can actually benefit you in the long run and the short term, right? Much more than just scaling and growing kind of at all costs. And we see that in the med spa industry as well, is that there is a lot of growth happening. There's a lot of private equity coming into the space right now and kind of buying up all of our smaller mom and pop shops. And a lot of this is pushing people to grow at a pace that maybe isn't sustainable, and they realize that halfway through, right? So like more people, more locations, more employees isn't always the right thing. You've got to start with making sure that those people are aligned with the vision that you have for the company. So I think that's an incredibly inspiring philosophy to rally people around.
Yeah, and to that point, PE's coming into restaurants as well, fast casual restaurants also. I'm all too familiar. And with that, whenever I think new location, and my responsibility is to get us to 100 and beyond. Before I think new location, I think how have we maximized our revenue and our profits at the
Right.
location that we currently have?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of capex and expenses that have to go into building another location, a lot of operating expenses as well. Where let's not always be looking forward. Let's look to the left and to the right of us, being like, how are we currently performing right now? Do we have an opportunity to squeeze out a little bit more juice from the orange, um, before looking at expansion? But
Right.
you can do both.
Yeah. And I think that the people first mentality is kind of this overlooked philosophy. It's a piece where somebody told me once, I think he was one of my coaches in the early years of me starting this business. And he said, you have two types of customers. You have your internal customers, which are your employees, and then you have your external customers who pay the bills, right? And I've always remembered that because I mean, they are the joy of why I do what I do, is the people that work for us. But you have to remember that they really are your first customers. You have to make sure they're happy and they're showing up for your customers. So it's something that I think can't be overstated.
There's another group of people that often get overlooked also in my world, and med spas as well, like suppliers, vendors, business
Yeah.
partners, right? Like our Uber drivers and DoorDash
Mhm. Yeah.
drivers, they are an extension of our company.
Hmm.
We rely on them to deliver our products to our customers, so we need to treat them like employees. But also, what about the individuals who deliver your supplies?
Mm.
Your banking representatives, anybody that interacts with your brand should be
Hmm.
delivered a very hospitable experience, whether you pay them or they
Yes.
pay you, because that's authenticity.
Right.
Often, people only reserve enough fuel and a time and attention for their highest paid customers, and then they say we're people centric. That's no, that is only one element to it. We need to create teams that are so hospitable that literally anybody that interacts with us, whether we
Hmm.
pay them or they pay us, walk away being like, what was that? Like, it was
Yes.
like a mind bending
Yeah.
experience. Like,
Yeah.
I'm never treated properly, right?
Hmm.
For me, whatever the Uber equivalent is in med spas or the supplier or whatever. I know in dentistry it's a company called Henry Schein. So yeah, it's just like everybody, right? And you can't train that.
Hmm.
When it comes to recruitment and interviewing to find these individuals, you're hiring adults. It's not your responsibility. You are not a psychotherapist to convince somebody how to be kind and hospitable. They learned that when they were 7 years old.
Yeah.
So our responsibilities as companies and leaders is to ensure that we're attracting those individuals and repelling ones that are not.
Hmm. It reminds me of Will Godar's book, Unreasonable Hospitality, right? Which I am a huge fan, I'm sure you are as well, of his. And I actually had our sales team read that book, and they got so much out of that because one of my favorite, I came from the hospitality world before I became a nurse and before I started this company. So that's my background. And I think that people who come from that world, you really do learn the art of giving really exceptional customer service. And like one of the things I loved about his book was he talks about the what do you call it? Like the dirty, helping clean each other's dirty plates, right? So kind of just everybody being part of the team and having that shared vision of what are we doing here? What is the experience that we want people to walk away from? And that's why you've been so successful. His restaurants have been really successful. And that's why I think, we've been around for 13 years because we've focused very heavily on giving the most exceptional customer service to everybody who walks through our doors. Like you said, whether they're clients or not, or whether they're high volume or not. But what I really love that you brought up is something I don't really hear at all about how you treat your suppliers and your vendors. So let's just think about that for a second. So most restaurants, I think the statistic is like 80% don't make it past 5 years, right? Your experience in the industry has not just survived, but you guys are thriving. Do you think that doing things like that, right? Treating your suppliers, your vendors, your Uber drivers, your Door Dashers, how do you think that that's sort of played into your success here and set you apart?
It's the same reason why I've had friends since I was 12 years old. I'm
Yeah.
30, I'm 39.
Yeah.
Because I've invested in relationships with the right people.
Yeah.
Think of some of the relationships you've had on the vendor side that deteriorated and you offboarded them because there wasn't a strong relationship there.
Mhm.
There's a reason why Paulina, you and I don't have 100 best friends
Mm-hmm.
because there's only so much attention for us to go to the right relationships. And that goes with suppliers also. I
Mm,
I am putting my I along with our entire team. So whether it's a team member or the CEO and everybody in between, our finance team interacts with our insurance brokers and so
mhm,
forth. And although we pay them, we still want to deliver that memorable people first culture
mm,
hospitality. Um, for a number of reasons. One, it's just good business.
mm,
If you want to be beloved or despised as a brand,
right.
decision's yours. Uh,
Mhm,
number two, don't you think that when you go and renegotiate with them,
mm,
this is an economic thing also.
right.
It's like 1B. 1A is this is good business, good-hearted business.
Mhm,
1B is you're gonna bring that rate down.
mhm,
Like, who
mhm,
treats you better than me?
mhm.
Right? And it's
Right, right.
it,
Yeah,
why not get a little
yeah,
outcome from that? And it works all of the time
yeah.
because and you earned it by
Mm,
being genuine and
yeah.
respectful. And they know that you are still a profitable customer for them because
Mhm,
of the way that you behave. You're not nickel and diming them. I'm not recommending that, but you're having an honest conversation, and honest conversations lead to fruitful relationships. You can still be profitable for that supplier, and then you want to expand your profitability as well by going to your suppliers and say, hey, let's play ball. And I do this once a quarter, like
yeah.
every supplier once a quarter. We're coming to you. Is it the bank with our interest rate? Is it our root vegetable supplier? Right,
Mhm.
every quarter they know we're coming. We actually host a supplier dinner, a thank you supplier dinner.
Oh, that's
um,
great.
yeah, yeah, and, it cost $10,000 last time. It was, a
Yeah.
lot of people had many
Yeah.
drinks, but
Had
it
lots
was
of fun.
fun,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Where who invites them to that? So
yeah.
it's experiences that we're creating that have
Mhm,
never been seen before. Like,
mhm.
one supplier was like, I don't even know if I'm, like, allowed to attend
Yeah,
this."
right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I
I've
was
never been
like, "Yeah,
invited.
no, this is a thank you dinner to you," and they're like, "I've
Mhm.
this has never happened."
Right.
Gordon Food Services, one of a I think, billion-dollar food supplier. The gentleman that had worked there for 20 years is like, "I've never in my life in my career been invited to this."
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
3 months later, "Did you
yeah,
enjoy the steak?"
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. "I saw you. I saw
Right,
you ordered 4 glasses of wine,
right.
to talk about our pricing."
Yeah.
Look, I don't want it to sound malicious, but it's an outcome. It's a
Yeah,
profit.
of course. And yeah, I think that's just such a clever and thoughtful thing to do. And you never know who those people are talking to and who they know. And so when it comes
Word
time
of mouth,
for
right?
recruitment,
Like,
exactly.
we always think word of mouth marketing,
Mm-hmm.
right? But word of mouth recruitment, word of
Right.
mouth supply chain, word of mouth, whatever, insert thing there. But yeah, word of mouth. It's word
Mm-hmm.
of mouth is built on reputation,
Yeah.
whether it's internal or external to customers or internally with suppliers and such. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's authenticity. It's like, oh yeah, I'm a nice person, but only people with brown hair,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm just thinking
Yeah.
of my feet here, but just be authentic to everybody.
Yeah. I think that's such a good little nugget of advice that I had not thought of. A supplier dinner. I think that's awesome. Because med
It's
spas, I
fun
mean,
for
we
you.
have, yeah, I can imagine.
Fun.
I
Good
mean,
business.
yeah, it's great business. So on that note, so kind of talking about recruitment,
Mhm.
finding and keeping top talent is a challenge in any industry. And I know just a bit about what's happening in the hospitality, the restaurant world right now. I know that that's a challenge. As med spa industry is growing, it's becoming a bit more competitive. People are having trouble retaining some of their top talent. So if you could kind of distill some of your best advice there, or maybe most actionable insights, what would they be?
Yeah, so there's a lot here. This is like a 1 hour conversation just on this
Yeah.
topic. So I'm gonna rip, but feel free to share my email address, Paulina, to anybody watching. And like, this isn't work for me. Like, I really thoroughly enjoy this. And I'm easy to get a hold of. My name is extraordinarily unique. Just throw it into Google, LinkedIn, wherever you'll find me. But let me contextualize this
Mhm.
because often some individuals will be like, well, you're hospitality. You don't get med,
Mm,
you don't get dentistry.
mm,
Sure, but I get human behavior.
mhm,
And it just so happens that I was a management consultant for 5 years, and I looked at I consulted for maybe every industry. And I don't know if there's one that I haven't touched. So, and the commonality is that human behavior, human expectations. So our employees are humans that have expectations of their workplace. High performing people have more leverage than the company does.
mhm,
It's not a company market right now. It's a high performer market. They have more leverage. There's a lot of A plus people also working for C plus companies.
mhm,
You've got to rip them out of there and create a compelling offer that they're going to come to you with magnets.
mhm,
Repellents are in place for individuals that shouldn't be within your company. Now, I've started coaching people. I have this program called Teams by Michel Falcon. And essentially, it's like, I'll help you build your highest performing teams in 9 weeks or less. And it's not related just to restaurants or hospitality. So we've got a supply chain person there. So a 3PL, third party logistics. We've got a dentist in there and so forth. So the reason I preface this is to show that it does not matter what industry
right.
it is at all. Okay. So a few statistical things from restaurants. My competitor is a little company called Chipotle.
Mm,
Got 3,500 locations, just a mammoth company, and I admire them so much.
mm,
I truly admire them. They have 75 to 125% year over year turnover. So essentially, their entire team
wow.
changes every year. Think of that cost and the
Mhm,
effort to replace them every year, that team.
mhm,
Okay. Oh, but here's another thing that goes unlooked. The customer, no more friendly faces remembering their orders. It
mhm,
impacts the customer experience.
mhm,
Brass Approving Kitchen, my fast casual restaurant that has locations near Chipotle, and we go head to head, respectfully. We had 7% turnover. It wasn't even double digits, okay, because of this methodology. I want you to think, when did I write my last job description?
mhm,
Okay. Who
mhm,
taught me how to write the job description? I
mhm,
bet any
mhm.
people listening did something like this. Job description med spa. Found somebody's online, downloaded it. But I'm not faulting you for doing that. When
Mhm.
have we ever been taught how to write a job description?
Right. Especially
Like a
first
job
time business owners.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure, right? And if you go to Indeed and I type in med spa, I bet you all of your job descriptions sound the exact same.
Mhm,
And I'm not here to criticize. It's just the fact of the matter. Restaurateurs do this also. The job description is like a wedding invitation.
mhm,
Are you going to put it on blank loose leaf paper, or are you going to
mhm,
make it look like a great invitation,
mhm,
a great event or gathering of people? Okay. Um, the job description, I actually call it career description now, because job by definition is compensation for ordinary work. Like, what
mhm.
an awful word.
Yeah, that
Like,
that
oh my
sounds
God,
terrible.
how uninspiring is
Yeah,
that? So we
yeah,
call it career description because company culture, language matters when it
yeah.
comes to building a company culture. So our career description is actually 6 pages long and
Mhm.
includes 30 minutes of videos for the candidate to watch.
Wow.
Then you have to click a link at the bottom and then apply to a 20-question interview. Now, you every single person listening to this will be like, get out of here. People
Mhm.
actually in restaurants will go through that. The right people will.
Right, right.
So I'm addressing
Mhm.
turnover before they even hire
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
I want you to not apply,
yeah.
right? There's so many people. We get 1,600 applicants a month on
Mhm.
average. Okay? Only 15% make it to the end of the application. That's perfect. I'm
Right,
turning them over even before they're showing me they don't have the work ethic. They don't care enough.
right,
They can't be bothered. But the
right.
right people are like, who is this company asking me to read
Mhm.
6 pages, watch videos? Oh, I watched a video. I like the founder.
Yeah.
So any leaders, you don't have to be phenomenal on camera, right? But get it, like share the story. Because
Mm-hmm.
right now, if your career description is one page, it's uninspiring, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
why should anybody really want to come work with you if you're
Mm-hmm.
not, painting a beautiful picture of what it's like to work with us? And some of the questions in the application, which we use Typeform, it's like Google Forms.
Yeah.
Um, we ask, did you watch the 4 videos? If they say no, they're immediately out, right? So
Mm-hmm.
these are little tripwires in the whole process. Has anybody called you kind before?
Mm. Oh, I like that question.
Yeah. What's something that you've taught yourself in the last 36 months? And,
Mm.
and so forth. So I have a preset questions, and happy to share them. But so then when they get to the interview, it's almost like they're hired. It's a formality. If they show up,
Mm. Yeah.
99% of the time they've hired, they're going to get hired
Right.
because I've been interviewing them the
Yeah.
whole time and they didn't even
Yeah.
know it. Now, when they show up to the interview, I say, what was that process like for you? And people will be like, I've never been through that before. I
Mm-hmm.
really enjoyed it. And you'll
Mm-hmm.
see, you'll see people. And I'll give them the interview. Then they come to a virtual interview, so I can weed people out even more because if they don't show up on time, they're out.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't feel like they're going to fit culturally, they're out as well. But I'll ask them a question like, talk to me about the videos you watch. So I brought it up again to make sure that they didn't click, yes, I watched them. And I know when I'm being lied to, by the way. But majority of the time, these people are looking at their notes. One person, Lecto, the individual we hired in Toronto, was looking at his notes. He said in the first video, at about 3 minutes and 37 seconds, you said this. I was like, hired. Like
Yeah. Higher.
I didn't even need to go any further. Okay.
Yeah.
It was like hired, done, good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So to answer your question more directly, building high performing teams, you have to front load the effort.
Yeah.
You have to stop, like you have to be like a security outside a nightclub. Like you have to build your teams like you're hosting a dinner party at your home. You
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't just invite anybody,
Mm-hmm.
right? You bring the right people who are going to get along, have great conversations. You even sit people next to each other who might have something in common, and that's how you build teams.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I recommend interviewing every single week, even if you're at capacity. Because
Mm.
how many times, like I still host the interviews to this day, and like I'm gonna go for as long as I can until the numbers beat me. But we interview every Monday and Wednesday at 4 o'clock Eastern,
Okay.
and it's habitual. I don't cancel it. The only time I cancel is because I missed my flight, and that was on Wednesday of this week. But other than that, I've never canceled it in years. Okay. So how many times are you like, yay, I have a team. Yeah, we're all great. And then somebody resigns and you're like, oh, then you have to
Sure.
start up the recruitment engine. Oh, we got to
Sure.
place the ads and so on. No,
Yeah.
no. You always keep it running, even if you're at capacity, because the worst problem that you're going to have is I have too many good people. Wouldn't you
Yes.
rather have that than not have enough
Right.
people or underperforming people?
Right.
If you are like, I don't need this person, or like, figure
Mm-hmm.
it out. Figure it out. Go to your current roster and be like, who's average right now?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like you have a responsibility to perform.
Yeah.
Okay. And those individuals on your team have a responsibility to perform as well.
Yeah.
And we at Brasa, we measure performance weekly. We don't do yearly or quarterly reviews, it's weekly. And there's a method I use called the traffic light model. You can have it done in 1 minute per team member. Because I believe that if our team members expect to be paid every single day, I expect performance every day.
Mm-hmm.
If one thing that I tell our team is like, hey, arriving on time matters to me for your shift, to see your patient, to your guest, your customer, your client, whatever. That matters to me, right? And we don't tolerate late, just
Mm-hmm.
like you wouldn't tolerate us paying you a day late.
Mm. Yeah.
Sure. That can, like, I recommend everybody say that because it contextualizes it from them because
Yes.
they would be up in arms.
Right.
If we paid them 1 day late,
Right.
even an hour late.
Right.
But you think you can show up late to work or to the meeting or to this or to that? How
Right.
is that fair? And
Right.
most companies aren't great. right?
Mm-hmm.
Every company is villainized, especially not every company is villainized, but many companies are villainized, especially for-profit companies,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of like you can consciously make a great profit, right?
Mm-hmm.
With a good heart, with the right intentions, and that's essentially what the people first culture is like, hey, we're going to make money, but we're
Mm-hmm.
going to put people first, and we're going to do it the right way. My industry is known for hiring minimum wage employees. We pay 21% higher than comparable restaurants, 21% higher. We have fewer people because they're so talented, and we make more money. So the team member is thrilled. They
Mm-hmm.
stay longer with us. We only
Mm-hmm.
had 7% turnover. So
Mm-hmm.
they're winning, right? Um, the customer wins because we remember their orders, their names, their children's names, their dogs' names. And then I win, the entrepreneur, and my investors, because we have more profit than restaurants, and we're still alive after
Right.
3.5 years.
So I can see some people who might be watching and think, okay, I should be recruiting or all the time, right? Keeping that sort of pipeline open. How do you tell people when they're going through the recruitment process if you don't have a job opening right now? How do people respond to that? Because I can see people wondering, well, what do I do when I find someone great, but I don't have a spot for them?
Yeah, so great question. I don't tell them we're not hiring because we're always hiring. Quite literally, if I find somebody absolutely phenomenal, I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to make the room for them somehow, some way. Now, there are, and that's the traffic light model. So if anybody's in yellow, which is kind of probationary period, or in red, I'm going to push that forward a little bit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody's in yellow, hey, I'm not going to sacrifice the way that we run this business in a high performance way because somebody does not want to step up. I've given you coaching. You got to go. You
Mm-hmm.
got to go. And quite frankly, to be super frank, I'm not going to apologize about that because I know that I've done my part. I've given you coaching, and you've decided that you don't want to take me up on this. You don't fit here anymore. I gave you the opportunity. I've given you warning. I've given you coaching. I'm not going to lose out on somebody great just because you don't want to step up and be like the others.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
meritocracy.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're all going to earn it, and we're going to love it because we're so treated so well, and you're surrounded by A players. Like I'm not going to lose somebody. I'm going to find a way for them.
Right.
Worst case scenarios happen where I'm like, I literally can't, or my labor percentages are going to go through the roof. I reach out to them and say, listen, we really like you. Let's keep in touch. Can we be in touch over the next couple weeks? This is my situation. And you don't have to get to the inner details of like, I'm coaching Lisa, and if Lisa doesn't work out,
Right.
you're in, right? You don't have to go
Yeah.
there. You're like, I want to make room for you, but I need a couple weeks. Can we keep in touch? Right.
Yeah.
And then we do. And then I connect with them on LinkedIn, and they'll see that I'm posting this stuff on LinkedIn about people
Mhm.
first and this and that. And they become even more
Right.
attractive.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. You've got them on the hook for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you've shared such valuable nuggets already. Do you have time for one more question?
Yeah, certainly. Let's do it.
Okay. I did stalk you a little bit before this, and I went through your content on Instagram, and one thing that I found really memorable and probably most insightful was your $20 interview
Oh,
question.
yeah.
And I was wondering if you could share that with everyone.
Yeah. It might be the best thing I've ever done,
It's
honestly,
pretty good.
truly.
And I am stealing it.
Yeah, please do. Please do. Okay, it goes. So please, here is the thing I needed to solve. It
Mm,
was 2016, and I wanted to find a way to hinge the recruitment, interview, and onboarding process so that new team members knew what experiences meant.
mm,
So I'm racking my brain. And Paulina, you're gonna have to role play with me.
mm.
So pretend like you are about to apply with my restaurant. Now, this is
Okay.
for marketers, finance people, operations, team members. Everybody gets asked this question on our payroll. So, what is an indulgence
Mm,
that you cannot live without that costs less than $20?
mm. Right now, it's a London fog with cashew milk.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yes.
Is there a particular cafe you like to order this from?
Right now it's my kitchen, but
Say you're out and about. Let's say you're out and about.
um, yeah, so Starbucks makes a pretty decent one, but you have to ask them for only one tea bag, not two.
Okay. Is there another cafe other than Starbucks, or is Starbucks going to be your go?
Probably be my go because I live in the country now and there's really no
Sure.
cafes
Okay.
out
Fair.
here.
Fair. Fair. So great. I asked you the next question, the next question, the next question. You've now forgotten that I asked this question, or maybe you're like, "That's a weird question. I wonder why." I
Right.
asked. Anyways, on we go, and then Paulina, we get back to you and we say, "Hey, you're hired. Thank you. Can't wait for you to come and join us. Your first day is February 25th. Okay, be there at 11. All right." So Paulina shows up. How many times have we invited new team members and we forgot that they were coming, or nobody knew? I didn't tell
Mhm.
anybody that they were coming, and then they're like, "Hey, I'm here for my first day," and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know you
Yeah.
terrible onboarding experience." Okay,
Yeah.
but here's what happens at Brassa. You're going to come into the training room, and we're going to have a little bag with you, a little bag in front of you, and a card. And the card is, and the language matters. The card is going to say, "Paulina, thank you for choosing us."
Mhm.
Remember, high performers choose the company. The company doesn't choose high performers.
Mhm.
I bet you had 100 companies asking to come, making you offers. We're so thankful you chose us. Can't wait to get started. And in that uh, bag is a $20 gift card to Starbucks, but also in the card, we're like, we bought you a little something so that you could get your London fog with cashew milk.
Mhm.
Okay, great. Now you may be thinking, oh, that's so sweet, right? That's so nice. It is, but here are the three operational reasons why we're doing this. Number
Mhm.
one, Paulina, I'm going to say this to you, Paulina. I wanted to create a memorable employee onboarding experience for you, so
Mhm.
you know what that feels like.
Mhm.
Go do it for our customers.
Right.
Okay? Shame on us as leaders if we ask somebody to do something we don't do for them.
Mm.
Number two, um, personalization. What
Mhm.
if notice how like you did tell me what that beverage was. What I was trying to do was figure out where you want it from. So if
Mhm.
somebody says coffee, that's not
Mhm.
enough. I will say,
Mhm.
do you like dark roast, medium roast, light roast? What region
Yeah.
of the world do you like it from? Or chocolate? Do you like dark chocolate, white
And they're
chocolate?
probably like, what in the heck
Yeah,
is
what is this milk,
happening?
right? I mean, it's strange, right? And so forth. So, how many times do we tell our employees personalize the customer experience? Well, contextualize that.
Yeah.
So, and make it specific to the
Yeah.
individual. Okay. When somebody says candy, what type of candy, right?
Mhm.
Jelly bellies, this flavor, whatever. But here's the third reason why. With $20, I'm going to get you to perform better faster. Why?
Mhm.
Because I just created an experience that you've never seen before. I motivated you. I maybe drew on some emotion. Your engagement is high right now. You're
Mhm.
about to learn, which means that your knowledge retention will be higher because your engagement is high. You are ready to learn and retain the knowledge. Then you are going to perform faster. You're going to
Mhm.
sell better. You're going to service better in a shorter period of time. And it also ladders up to higher employee retention, company culture alignment, and so forth. So that is the $20 question. I don't like to repeat things year over year, but this question has worked so well for me. I've been asking it for nearly 10 years. And
Wow.
to my last count, 973 companies now ask it around the world because they read my book or listened to a keynote or a webinar like this. And that's just of the companies that have told me, right? So
Yeah.
at this point, I think thousands of companies now ask it, all because I was sitting, I know exactly where I was. I was in Toronto when I developed the question, and I was like, let's see if this works. And it
Mm.
works so well for $20
Yeah.
to get you. So you're telling me I can increase engagement for $20? Yes, you can. And
Yeah.
also, it's worth noting too. I come from a very humble South American family. We didn't like spending money, and I don't as a family because we're kind of paycheck to paycheck family growing up. So it's kind of in my DNA to be thrifty.
Mhm.
So as an entrepreneur, that DNA has brought me.
Mm.
and how brought me to a point where I'm like, if there's a problem that needs to be solved, I want to solve it in the most cost-effective way possible
Mhm.
because I love profit, right? But I love experiences that generate a profit even more. And that's
Yeah, yeah. That's brilliant. I can't wait. I mean, I was gonna say, if it's 973 after this, it's definitely gonna be over 1,000. I'm gonna start using it. I'm sure we'll have our clients
Yeah,
start using it. So
I appreciate it.
thank you. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah,
Where
my
can
pleasure.
people follow you and find more of your content?
Yeah, I'm kind of everywhere, more active. Like to be honest, I'm most active on LinkedIn and Instagram because the algorithms are a little more serve me a little bit better there.
Mhm.
But I'm also an email behind human like you, or a human behind email, like everybody here. So message me, my email. Feel free to share it, Paulina, if you like. Hit me up anywhere.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah,
If
I
anyone uses the $20 interview question, please tag Michelle and let us know.
let me know.
All right.